Back on the tail of Gooner, as he's looking to make an off-take already. Down the inside he goes.
Is he gonna go? He's gonna do it!
Oh, with Hackett now up into P9. Down the inside he goes. Another aggressive move on the other Mercedes driver. Is he gonna make a mistake? Doesn't look like.
Closing. Problem is, if he goes.
Oh, that's nice for Broad Adam, moving up to P7.
As he's currently looking to gain about 3 or 4 points. Oh, and is Nellboy going to go for it down the inside of Waza? Seems like he is, and he makes up that position. Beautiful overtake by Nellboy.
12 races, multiple divisions, 20 drivers.
All that sound good? Then why not join us now ahead of the new season? The link to our Discord will be in the description, and we hope to see you on track with us.
Delta T Racing.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Delta T Racing. This is round 5 of season 14. We are here in the Netherlands, a very rainy Netherlands by the looks of it. Here at Zandvoort, right on the coast. Like I was going to say, the weather can be very wet and windy. See right now. Division 1 was the same, but just for the feature race yesterday, so hopefully we can get a bit of that action going on today as well. This track consists of 14 corners, and with more banking off and the red light district, we're sure to see some spunky dive bombs into the heavy braking zones, so do not go anywhere. You're watching Division 2 with me, Relic33. Let's get into this. The drivers whacking their setups on, trying to fill around with anything to get it race ready for the wet, or potentially just leaving it if they can see the race is going to be dry. Yes, Benny, it is just how I like it. Really, really like it. You'll have to let me know if there are any comments from the pit lane on any dry weather up and coming. We're going to go on board with a random driver. Let's see. Andre in the Ferrari going into turn 1. I mean, there is no line at all. It's so sticky, but plenty of aquaplaning to be done around a lap of Zandvoort when there's this much rain on the track. So difficult to get into the apexes when you've got so little grip on front and back. Getting the traction down, even with the banking, is absolutely impossible. If you keep your foot down to the floor through this section, just trying to keep it in, because normally it is flat, but with a bit of conditions like this, it can be treacherous. A flat corner, usually in the dry there, has to have either a massive lift off or even a bit of braking in said conditions. He's doing well, keeping it on the track. When your drivers will not be doing that. P2 for Andre at the minute behind D Summers, who looks to be on for provisional pole. A DRS straight usually, but not in these conditions. The final one before the start finish straight. Nellboy has been disqualified from parking in a dangerous location. Interesting situation there. We'll have to about that at the end of this race. You can hear how tentative he is on the throttle or full traction, just doing its work, making sure the rears do not spin up. A little bit of an unsettled car into the braking zone there, but it's full power through the final banked corner of Zandvoort. Across the line, he will finish P2 by the looks of it. These Summers are 125.3, or over a second faster than anybody else in one lap of Zandvoort in the wet. You'd have to say, if we've got wet conditions, these Summers looks to be the favourite. Fantastic lap from Summers there. An entire second is a huge amount of time around a track like this. And that might just be the reason why. Intermediate tyres. I didn't even know you could change the tyres during a wet qualifying, but clearly you can. D Summers first, with Andre and Tom Putty finishing off the podium. Connor in P4 and Raikkonen 5th. Johnny in 6th, Bargy in 7th, Pipke 8th, and D-Rush 9th. The Katzes finishes off your feature race points positions. Only 8 points available, of course, for the sprint going down from 1st to 8th. And the rest of your finishes are there as you. Hellboy's qualified, as I mentioned, for parking on track, essentially, I think it was. Maybe he's looking to do a last to first challenge in the sprint. Dry. Completely dry. Nice and sunny as well. So it looks like we're going to get a dry sprint race, which is fantastic. Get some good moves done in the dry here. Whilst we wait for these guys to finish off their setup, tool and strategy, etc. We'll have a quick look at the standings after last race out in Miami. We've got a joint lead, actually, for the drivers' standings. Connor and Pipke, both on 66 points each, followed reasonably closely by D Summers. I'm sure he'll be looking to close that gap with the pole position he's just made in the sprint now. Andre, who we were on board with, just in P4, just outside the top 3 positions for Ferrari. Bogrovsky in P5, Johnny 6th, Homer 7th, 8th, Wicker 9th, and Skipper 10th. Looking over to the constructors, we've got Ferrari, very, very consistent between their 2 drivers in 2nd and 4th in the championship. Means that they're 2 points in the lead in the constructor. Racing Bull's doing well, of course, with Connor on the very top spot for the drivers. Haas in P3, McLaren P4, and Red Bull in P5. Still plenty of races, of course, in this season. Just over a third of the way through. Now we've done the qualifying. Take that off your screen so we can watch them do their outlap. Right on board with P3, which is Tom Putty in this case, who's actually opted for the hard tyre in this sprint. Not a bad idea, I don't think, based on how it has been before. There we go. Now we can see the actual race. Like I was saying, Tom Putty on the hard tyre. Good tyres as well. Just 3, 4 people on the hard tyres. After yesterday, the hard tyre did pretty well in the sprint from what I saw. I personally went on the medium tyre, which can make it. Not quite as well as the hard can, and definitely a pace advantage for hard runners nearer the end. NLD Rush throws a curveball and goes for the soft tyre. Maybe he's expecting some sort of safety car or incident where he has to switch tyres anyway. Let's get all of that information up for this sprint race. Let's go to me. We'll take. Oh, okay. What was going on there? Connor wanted to get a move on. We'll have a look at the position change after the first couple of laps. See who our biggest winners and losers are. Yeah, a few drivers just coming past Tom Putty now. Maybe they want to get a move on. Of course, with their medium tyres, they should be a little bit warmed up. Maybe the hard tyre just taking that extra few meters or so to get to that up. So as the final few get into their grid boxes at the back of this pack, we've got a few disqualified. Empty D-Rush and Nellboy missing their grid boxes. Well, it's just a silly mistake, but it shouldn't inhabit them too much. Here we go, almost 5 red lights. There's the 5th on. And away they go. They were held for a long time there. A little bit of wheel spin. It looks like the McLaren of Raikkonen's fallen back a little bit there. We're going to stay 1, 2, and 3 into turn 1. Connor's then look up the inside. Johnny might even be going following round. Is he going to back out of this? He will do. Just keeping that front wing intact. A little bit of grass picked up on the corner, which is actually a corner apparently. And looking down the grid, we got finally making a move on Lakatzis. Raikkonen moving more positions now with Pipke side by side through the S sections, and he might have just had a bit of a bump there. He's gone off track into the gravel. That is absolutely horrible for the McLaren. And what's happened there? Composites out. Raikkonen 10-second penalty. Severe collision No safety car or virtual safety car for now, but it looks like Raikkonen may have rejoined a little bit unsafely and taken the Big Sauber out with him. That is a shame for Composite, but however, do not leave. You've got a new qualifying and feature race to go just yet. D. Summers loses out to Andre. Hard tire not picking up just yet. We'll have a look at the position changes as they come round the final corner. Andre picks up the fastest lap, of course, as the first man to cross the finish line. We've got the rush in the pit lane, potentially for a new wing. Steady on there, Summers. No moves being made into turn one that I can see. Biggest winners have all made 3 places. That includes Tiny Penguin, Alpha Buzz, Melboy, and Hummer. Raikkonen, our biggest loser at the moment, with 10 places lost. Watched him go wide in the S sections before the flat right-hander offset. Gaps all within DRS. Reached down to P6. Barry Bogarovsky is the first one out of DRS, but the behind him aren't close enough for DRS themselves. They'll be happy with that. Piney Penguin is dropping places. He's gone wide, potentially riding that curb out of the right-hander. Can absolutely throw you so far up into the gravel. Shame we missed that. It looks like almost going to go for the move up the inside. Maybe made it late into the session and didn't get a qualifying lap in. That is a bit of a squeeze. Oh, and Piney's just run wide into him on exit. That was a good move, I think, there by Hummer. Just so narrow and tight, that section, that you really have to be careful to go too wide. Off board is a good camera around here. Tom Putty drops out of that 1 second gap in the 2 in front. Bit of a train behind him with Johnny, Connor, and Pipke. But a hat of not block. His teammate actually Nelboy is very close, skipper ahead, but he's a much wiser driver than most. He's going to stay behind through sections like this and make sure that his moves are done and dusted well before the braking zone in the likes of turn 1 and that's basically the only one here where you can definitely get a move done, sure. Take him with him though, in the DRS. We got a spinner. Oh my word, that was just a board, I think. That wasn't another car. There was a big crash there from Pombeer into that braking board. I thought maybe with the DRS board there, a little bit of oversteer out of that left-hander. Benny knows that very well. Almost the same lap as well, I think. Pete Summers has made fastest lap. You might have just seen a move for Tom Putty going backwards, sorry. Johnny made the move on Tom Putty into turn 1. Pete Summers, fastest lap, but still not made a position up on Andre, who is leading the race. A little bit of a hesitancy on the power there for Tom Putty. A slide out of turn 3 just meant he had to wait to pick up the traction. Well, you've got a 10-second penalty there for Pombeer, who's in the pit lane. Speaking of the pit lane, that won't matter too much in this sprint. He's back down there. Piney picks up a 3-second penalty for going off track. He's in P13. That shouldn't make too much of him. And he's done it again. I suspected that is what he had done earlier on, just riding that curve. The bottom of the car just slides across it. The tyres not making any contact with the ground. It just means you have lost all sense of control with the car. Going back up to the top, let's try not to miss a move now. Lovely helicopter cam, which fortunately has left us behind. 3.5 tenths the gap between Summers and Andre. Looks like he's going to go for the move this time. Down the inside, brakes just early enough to not push him wide. A bit of a bump there. I think he'll cede the position as there was a bit of contact. Not a bad move. Oh, and almost really optimistic move into turn 3 after Andre picked up a bit of oversteer over that hump to go into turn 3. That would have been a fantastic move, but probably well avoided as Andre came straight back across into the racing line. Still plenty of laps left in the sprint. And you've got the harder, lesser wearing tyre. Going to have the advantage later on. Definitely the right move now. Alphabus is the man of E8. That's just a bit of wing damage behind him, actually. in the DRS though. Nelboy doing the same. He dispatched of Skipper, as we mentioned earlier. He was right behind him and looked like he was going to make a move at any point. Definitely did it in the end. Likely it's turn 1, I suspect. Going back up to the top. He might go for the inside again this time. Andre just sat in the middle of the road, making it difficult for the McLaren man to make a dive bomb into turn 1. He's going to send it on the inside, and he has got alongside him. But turn 3, they're still alongside. Oh, a bit too much there. I think he would have been better off backing out earlier on. That's P1 for Summers in the sprint, and Johnny picks up P2 after Andre has a bit of an incident hitting the back of that McLaren. Most drivers here will be in none on the battery, just trying to charge as much as possible for the next DRS straight and of course the start-finish straight. So much battery can be made around here with the long sweeping corners when you do leave it in none. As you can see, Johnny on 60% and Summers on 80%, despite being in the lead. He should not have too much of an issue defending E1 into turn 1 with that much battery anyway. Just had a message from Summers, Nathan, to try and get him in the game. He's joining late. Here you go, Nathan. Fortunately for you, we didn't miss anything, so I can't berate you this time. At least for now, anyway. Oh, that was close between Ralph and Elboy there. We've got a yellow flag. Not sure what that's for. No one seems to be going that slowly. Good start, finish straight. Maybe just Piney going into the pit lane. Elboy is well all over the back of this Red Bull. Closing up with the hard tyre in the long corners of Sector 2. Like we might have had kind of going wide there, just on the minimap. So many different lines you can take around these sweeping corners that honestly you never really know which one's the fastest until you try them all. Elboy just dropping off a little bit of the dropping off a little bit of the Red Bull. Not quite got enough battery really for a move into turn 1. Just seems to be struggling a little bit with those tyres. Just about keeps it on track. That curb can be absolutely devastating and throw you into the exit wall. Sometimes Hummer has crashed in the final corner. Front right tyre has come clean off. And well, I actually realised yesterday there's plenty of oversteer you can pick up with the banking easing off if you've got the DRS open and ERS on. Quite easily spin the rear of the car. That is going to be the end of Hummer's sprint. We'll go back to the garage. Put a fresh set of tyres on a car that will magically be fixed for qualifying. And go again. Going back up, Andre has fallen off the back of the front two. No DRS for him. Bog closing down Andre, who is not building up too much battery. Well, yeah, 30 versus 67% of the Haas behind him. We're going to probably see a move here for E1 into turn 1. Go off board. He's almost got him by the time they're on the straight. ERS and DRS doing its work. Get past Andre in the Ferrari. Moved and dusted well before turn 1. A hard tyre coming in sweet now. We've got Pitke in the pits. He's got wing damage. A fresh wing and fresh tyres it is for the Ferrari driver in P2 in the driver's side. Already not having the best of times at the moment. So he's got some more wing damage unless it just wasn't replaced after his first pit stop. And Connor's turn now on the Ferrari of Andre. Battery looking a little bit more in favour of Ferrari this time round. 3 laps to go though. Back into the top 2 positions. Johnny challenging for the win. Not got the battery with DRS. So he has got the DRS, but not got the battery to try and contend with Summers just yet. Summers doing very well on that battery and is only going to get stronger as the mediums fade more than the hard tyres. Hellboy and Tom Putty. Oh, sorry. Tom Putty and... No, it was Tom Putty and Hellboy, I think I get it right. Going side by side through the first couple of corners there. Hellboy finally makes the move after impatient, just waiting. And look at that, he's absolutely driven away with a bit of good traction at turn 3 there. That's 10 positions gained for him and 3 points on the card at the moment if he finishes where he is. Rosberg's the next man closest to a overtake. Plenty of battery in that Red Bull. Just dropping off a little bit. It's not easy to stay really close behind through these sections where the dirty air in this game is as bad as it is. DRS will keep him in that 1 second for now. He needs to get a good few corners here to try and make a move into turn 1. Just couldn't stick with it. 1.3 seconds, unfortunately, by the time he's made it onto the last corner. We've got Havoc, Connor and Andre still going at it. Kind of looking to build that battery up, hopefully. The more battery you have, the higher chance of making a move into that first corner you have. Looks like Barry Bogorowski has joined the party with the 2 up front, just etching into that 1 second gap of Johnny. 2 laps to go. Sorry, 1 lap to go after this one. It'll be tricky for him to make a move on either of these 2. Also got a lapped car there. Whoa! Of what I think is Piney Penguin. Not too sure what he's doing. Steady on, mate. He's fighting it. What on earth is he doing? Is it Piney? Well, okay, whatever. I'm not even gonna entertain that. The top 3 still as they are, despite the DRS and ERS through turn 1. Andre has been given a bit of leeway to Piney Penguin slowing up Havoc Connor. Final lap, it looks like the top 5 will stay as they are unless they have any sort of influence. Hellboy up 10 positions from the start of this sprint. That is fantastic stuff for him. He had a flag there very briefly. Come on, maybe just picking up a bit of oversteer out of turn 3. Very easy to do once that banking tails off. Oh, Connor's gone wide. Opened the door for Nell. He's going to try and go around the outside with a fresher, harder tyre. Leone's gone and done it. Fantastic move for the Haas driver to move up into P5. 11 positions gained for him. Hopefully we caught them. Andre's out. I missed that. Crazy. Where's the car? What on earth? That is incredibly unfortunate for the Ferrari driver who was looking to take P4 on the road. He drops down all the way to the bottom. D. Summers finishes on first, of course. We're pretty sure of that after his driving in the qualifying and around this sprint. Johnny picks up second after being opportunistic with Andre and Summers battling hard. And Barry Bogorowski actually left the session. I don't know what happened there. I would have picked up P3. Connor is promoted to P3 instead. Nellboy, pole position gained after Og seems to have left the session. I think that will probably be changed back. Tyres left kaboom. Yeah, mediums sometimes can be tricky to get around here, to be fair, Andre, so not completely surprising, I suppose. But just keeping an eye on the chat, seeing what's gone on potentially. Bog's back in. That is your provisional top 8. I'm going to say that provisional because I assume that Bog will be promoted back to 3. Have Connor behind him, then Nell, then Tom, then Lacasse, then Ralphus, and then Skipper. Just not quite making it into the points for the rest of your finishers are in this order, maybe, other than Bog, after leaving halfway through, just to make sure I assume he can get into qualifying. Looks like Tom Putty and Raikkonen are having a few connection issues. If they do, you need to let me know so I can invite them back to the lobby. They leave, join. Well, that was a pretty interesting sprint considering it was completely dry. A few incidents going on, some good moves considering that the DRS train around here is incredibly powerful. Oh dear, yes. On the last lap of the sprint, Andre picks up a front left puncture. Tom Putty needs an invite. Picks up a front left puncher and then goes to brake for the right hander and just goes straight on. There's your invite, Tom Putty. You've received that. And he's joined. Good stuff. I believe we should have a full grid now. Here we go. We're going to ride aboard with a random driver as we switch through them and stop. Who's it going to be? Pombeer in the Williams. Hopefully he can have a better go at this for the feature race. Much nicer in the driver's track. You can absolutely send it through a lot of these corners, flat through plenty of them. A lot of speed can be taken into this with the banking, and as we come over the crest for the long S section, flat all the way through here, of course, into second 2. Flat again, and potentially drop a gear with the scrubbing of the fronts. That's good stuff. Williams driver, plenty of apexes picked up through there, and again, fantastic. Eventually shifting down a little early, but this is looking like a good lap for Pombeer so far. A nice tight line onto the DRS straight should mean he has a decent run at it. P7 he is for now, as we come into this little bit of a Mickey Mouse section with a big sausage curve on that right hand side, which can be taken quite a lot actually. Not quite as aggressive as some of the sausage curves we see around the tracks. And plenty of speed hopefully taken into the final corner of this track. Of course, it's hardly really a corner with the amount of banking out there. He will finish P10 with a 1:10.8. Nellboy goes on to pole position in the Haas with the only one in the 109s. He will be well happy with that. Hummer picks up P2 after missing qualifying for the sprint. Penalty rush, Pombeer's teammate, picks up P3 with a 1:10.0 as well. Summers a 1:10.2, a little bit of a gap in him the front 3. Johnny finishes on P5 qualifying. Nell for the win. Well, Nell's definitely got pace. He struggled, we know, with the actual highway recently in Imola. One of the tracks he struggled a little bit, but I'd love to see a Nell. Love it. Andre picks up P6 after his puncture in the sprints. Pipke P7, Ralph Buzz in P8, Hav 9th, and Pombeer 10th. Finally picks up P11. Hopefully he can have a better race. Kipper and Bogdan in P13 must have had an issue at his home track. That is unfortunate for him. Raikkonen, Tom Putty, Nathan, and Composite finish off everyone else to set a time. Lakatsis starting last. No time set. Nathan's in a Merc. Well, that's interesting. Shouldn't be in a Merc, but he is. Could be in an Alpine, I believe. But I'm sure that once the race is concluded, all of his points will be instead of Mercedes. Maybe he's just really trying to avoid. Who on earth would want to do that? Anyway, 12 laps for the sprint. It's actually 36 laps for the race. Plenty indeed. We've got nice, bright, sunny skies for now. I hope it will stay that way. After the safety car, I don't even know what to call it. Safety car, just mayhem that we had yesterday, as well as the VSCs on top. You'll hopefully have a nice fluid race with plenty of on-track. Of course, it's quite a DRS base overtakes. So the drivers who are in their usual positions can be tricky to make and gain over positions. For those who are slightly out of it, like Bogorovsky, might be a little bit easier, but you can get stuck quite easy and start losing time out. Anyway, here they go for their formation lap for the race. Nellboy on pole position, fantastic stuff. And he will, of course, ride on board with D-Rush for the start. A quick look at tyres. Most on the mediums, as usual. One man on the softs in Andre. Interesting choice after he found himself with a puncture in the sprint for the softest tyre compound. Ralphus and Hamilton Connor have decided they don't want to do a formation lap. Crashed into each other, so they are already on the grid. Skipper is the first of the hard runners, with Raikkonen, Composite and Lakatzis joining him in that venture. Lakatzis taking his time. Want to warm those tyres up a little bit, mate. There we go, he's got a bit of power going down now. If you're there, Benny, let me know if there's any rain on the way. It doesn't look like there will be, but you never know. You can turn around here pretty quick. We saw yesterday the wet conditions cleared up quickly. I'm not in chat. Ah, you. Whoa, that's close. We'll have to just assume then for that. It doesn't look like we're going to have any rain. Or someone would have come in and said. Oh, that's close. Didn't miss his grid box this time, but Nellboy did. That's a shame. Hummer has as well, so it's not going to be too much of an issue for Nell, but D-Rush will be looking at picking his chops. They've all lined up. The lights will now commence at some point today. Maybe tomorrow. Aha, here we go. Everyone's in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights. It held them for a long time last time. Not that much this time. D-Rush is already on the move on Nell. Nell's not going to have a great start, and Hummer's already into P1. He's going to send it up the inside. Oh, a little bit of a wheel bang there. Not too much going on. And D Summers has actually flown past end of the rush. We've got Andre being overtaken by his teammate. Soft tyres not working too well for him just yet, but he sent it around the outside, and that's a good move for him on lap 1. We've got side by side for Havoc Connor. Ah, no, that's a spin! Ralphus just turns in on the V-carb and now pushes it wide onto the grass. That is a disastrous start for Havoc Connor in the RB, leading the championship, but you would suspect after that this race might not go his way. We've got Lakatzis at the back going very slowly again, trying to replicate his formation lap. Not too sure what's going on there. Back up the front, actually, we've just seen Bogorovsky go past Piney Penguin in a slightly unorthodox way. And Piney's going to try and hold it down the inside. That was probably not the best or smartest of decisions. He's going to now be under threat from the Red Bull of Ralphus. He's going to send it around the outside and keep that position. Good move and very opportunistic there. Almost that's the fastest lap as the first one across the start-finish line after lap 1. No other moves, it would seem, after our first lap. Of course, DRS will now be enabled. So DRS will start from this lap onwards. Got a few gaps opening up between the two Ferrari drivers here, actually. Pipke just slightly falling off. He said he wasn't looking forward to this race, to be honest. Disqualified from session, can't consider anything. Okay, Lacatius has just parked off track and decided he's had enough. LD Rush is off into the gravel. Please do not take anyone out. That is, oh, that was done reasonably well. It's quite hard to get back on track there. The racing line comes straight across the left-hand side of that track, and when you go off left, you have to go onto the racing line. You have no choice. Fortunately, doesn't pick anyone up there. Tom Putty's looking to try and make a move under DRS, but of course the Williams had some as well. The other Mercedes absolutely flying into that braking zone there. Looks like he's going to go past Piney Penguin. That was Nathan, of course. I didn't think it was, but he's in the wrong car. He's spun and he's out. Piney Penguin up the curb at the final corner, spun the car and crashed into someone. I didn't see who it was. That is Piney Penguin's weekend over after a poor sprint. An even poorer GP will not do him any good at all. Nell Boys picked up 10 seconds for ignoring yellow flags. That's usually one of those penalties you can probably get taken off. Giving the place back to Hummer might be one of those silly little glitches in F1 where you have to keep giving each other the place. Connor, Raikkonen and D-Rush are all into the pits, as well as Pipke for some fresh tyres. Making the most of this virtual safety car, actually, not a full safety car. Lacatius' wheel was dead, no steering. Okay, interesting. It's a shame for him. Anyway, I'm going to go back up to the top. Nellboy leads, unfortunately, with a 10-second penalty, which he can hopefully get removed after the race. Raikkonen seems to have been the driver who was unfortunate enough to run into the side of Piney Penguin after he spun at the final corner, which we are going through now. It was a big incident, so I'm not surprised the VSC is still going. Would we see a few extra pitters make the most of this? No, we're back to green. Back to green flag racing. No moves for the front guys just yet. No, nothing yet. We've got Bogorowski going for it on Pompey. Look at the drive out of turn 1 there. It's his home race. You've got to assume it gives him a little bit of boost to all of his statistics. The traction statistic, if there is one, has absolutely done him wonders there. How far he's come away from the Williams driver already. He is on the hunt for the top 5 now. Nell will have to in the pits, unfortunately. Of course, yes. So early on, unless he does a one-stop, then he'll be disqualified, which is always a possibility. Have a quick look actually at the positions gained and lost. Our biggest loser is D-Rush. Of course, we saw him go in sector 2 into the gravel. Unfortunately, didn't take anyone out on his return to the track. Finally, his left session. He's had enough. Fair enough. Bad sprint, bad race for him. Shame, but it happens. Barry Bogorowski is our biggest winner, of course, for the start. The two Hasses going very well today. Good see. 7 positions gained for him, up into P6. He's got a bit of a gap between himself and the front runners now, which he will really want to close down. DRS helping going on with 5. That might be Ralphabas with a little bit of DRS training going on for himself. Putty, Pombeer right behind, and Nathan going very well, I think, considering he's never usually had a huge amount of practice in this game. Got a move for first. Looks like Nellboy maybe just got off the road a little bit. Homer has made ample opportunity of that mistake from the Haas driver and shot off down the road. 1 second the gap already. No DRS for Nellboy at this rate. E. Summers and Johnny will be looking at that and thinking, I really need to make a move now. I need to get past Nellboy make sure they don't drop the DRS to Hummer, because he can just drive away if they are not careful. Hellboy gets into the 9/10ths of a gap, but I think it was after DRS detection line, so he won't be getting any boost down the straight. These Summers gaining a lot of distance there on the Haas driver, but not quite enough by the time he's in turn 1. Bit of a gap going on, the two Mercedes drivers being held up, it would seem, a little bit by Pombeer, who's now dropped off the back of Ralphibus since we last checked in. Do a bit of off-board spectating. Nellboy has done very well to get back into that second gap of Hummer. And those two back. ERS management again in these Summers is much better than those around him. Johnny doing a very good job as well, to be fair to him. Almost 100% these Summers as he enters the DRS or the start finish straight, and he's almost dead. The battery in Hellboy's car, he will be very, very under threat. Maybe not from the McLaren out ahead. Oh, back behind. Tiny Penguin sucks to be me. Well, yes, you did have an interesting sprint and race, didn't you? It's a shame that you've gone off on a few curbs a few times. Unfortunately, didn't seem to learn your lesson. We've got a full safety car, but Connor, he's out. He's crashed at the final corner. Potentially low traction on the penultimate corner has caused him to spin and take off one of those tires into the barrier at the bottom of the banking. 3 drivers out, and we are 7 laps in. Full safety car, of course, will tighten the pack up. Nellboy, unfortunately, will have to pit and serve his 10 seconds if he does. 7 laps in. What do you do? Like, whoa! Steady on, son. Still plenty of race to go. Nellboy, you would suspect, has to pit to remove that penalty. He'll lose less time now than he will later on. Yeah, don't you worry, Piney. We saw all of it. We saw every last second of it. Ricciardo is here for Andre. Yeah, Andre had a strong sprint until he got a puncture. So that was unfortunate for him. We got a few people, actually everyone's in the pits so far. But Kick Sauber going straight on. He shall inherit the 2 by the looks of it. Hummer gets out just in front of him with some fresh hard tyres on. Skipper will be a great help for the Red Bull when the restart is commenced. Yep, we saw it on stream, Piney. Well, you were having some issues, let's say, with the track and other drivers, so we noticed that and thought we'd just check out what was going on. And then, of course, you rode the curb going into the final corner, spun because the rears literally come off the ground, and then yeah, Lakatis finished you off. Raikkonen got a 10-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit white line. That's a new one for me. I thought it would only mean 3 seconds, especially when you're under a safety car. A 10-second penalty for that is harsh, I would say. Yeah, well, you know, Zandvoort is one of those tracks where it can bite, especially if you take a lot of those curbs, as Benny can attest to. Well, it's just the way it works, unfortunately, Piney. I think you were taking a lot of curb. That is the one thing around here that you do really need to be careful of. There are plenty that you can take a lot of, but those big wide ones on the corner exits around some of these long corners are just absolutely lethal. You just literally have no chance of controlling anything on them, and don't get disqualified, Hummer. I mean, I don't remember betting actually. You might have to just let me know where you finished in the main race. Touche. Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. He was close to being disqualified. It's normally only like 3 or 4 seconds it gives you back in the safety car, so I thought he was a goner for sure. He's managed to keep it. Keep it from disqualifying him. Akatis goes in and pits to get rid of his 10th penalty. Very well done. After receiving that for crossing the pit lane exit line, bit of a silly one. Pretty sure I won that one. Imagine not even being on the podium. Well, I can't remember who it was yesterday, but and Hummer, what are you doing? Right, safety cars in this lap. We'll finish this bit quickly. I can't remember who it was yesterday who was racing, but I don't think they managed to do qualifying, and they dropped back really early on to literally last. And in conditions they really don't like, they managed to get back into P4. So I think they definitely should have deserved, did deserve driver of the day yesterday. Unfortunately for the guy who won, he basically just sat out in front for ages and never had any issues. So, you know, he drove a really easy race versus everyone else, especially that Red Bull driver that I just mentioned. Anyway, the race is back on. Hummer's gone early, of course. He's going to make a massive jump on Skipper, who's almost a second and a half behind before he's even on the straight. B. Summers sure to make a move under braking, I would assume, into turn 1. And he does. Down the inside he goes on the fresher, hard tyres. No moves, as we can see, further backwards down the pack. All just getting on with it. Raikkonen, after serving his 10-second penalty, is looking to make some moves up the grid. Controlled the race, you could say. Oh, well. I'm not going to talk about it today because we're here to watch Division 2, Benny. Gosh, it's not all about you. D. Summers, despite his efforts, is still out of the DRS detection range of Hummer in P1. He will be wanting to get into that as soon as possible. Skipper still holding on to the podium for now. That is good. We've actually got a friend in commentary for tonight, potentially. He's muted for now, but I'm sure when he unmutes, he can provide some good. Honor you there. Good evening. Yes, you, well, no, bad evening, but you want to talk about it? Yes, didn't see it, but we saw your car stranded on track as we see Andre take Skipper into turn 1. Good move for him. Raikkonen's got another 10-second penalty. He seems to be collecting them like infinity stars. Yes, here, but maybe not here mentally. Maybe he's off somewhere else. And then, oh my word. Oh, right. Well, Summers did get 10 seconds 3 times in a race somewhere else. Raikkonen has joined him on that mission to get seconds 3 times here in DTR. Go back up to the front too. D. Summers has made it back into the DRS detection range of Hummer after losing out because of Skipper basically holding everyone up. Hellboy just made a position as well. Good stuff. The Haas driver got 10 seconds early on. What was probably a silly penalty under the safety car. Ooh, that was close. Ah, okay. Yeah, I suspected that was the case. Andre picks up the fastest lap of the race so far. Skipper drops 2 positions there because of Pipke and D-Rush are going at it again. Into turn 3, D-Rush just seized that position. He's already made 1. Can get the next one. DTR. Very, very close through these long right-handers. But yeah, no good for the tyres or the confidence. And that is a Williams off track. He's managed to take a lot of curve and he's pushed it wide onto the gravel, but he's managed to get back on track rather swiftly, not losing any places there. The other Williams, however, being overtaken by Bogorovsky here, the other Haas, who's going very well. Back up the top, E. Summers in the lead. Wasn't even challenged into turn one by Hummer there. The battery management has been very good for the McLaren driver. If you want to know, he just seems to a bit like the McLaren driver yesterday, actually, just be in control enough to make sure that there is no chance given to the guys behind. Humber is out. Yep, and there is the stricken Williams car. Looks like the front left come off. I saw a little bit of movement on the timing screen between him and Harry Bogorovsky, I think it was. And then looked down and he had spun and crashed and died and out and gone. Finished. They're like you, Pioneer. Wow. We don't know. Johnny looked like he might have got into the pits there, but it just stayed out. Still plenty of life in these hard tyres for now. Lipke on 10 lap old still stays out though. E-Rush has jumped into the pit lane for a new front wing by the looks of it. Skipper as well follows in behind, along with Nathan, who is in a Mercedes but should be in an Alpine. Yeah, I thought so. Yep. Ah, kids, eh? Who wants them? The massive McLaren sandwich continues with Raikkonen going and serving another 10-second penalty onto the safety car. Yes, let's just, should we stay on board actually and just make sure that he does. We want the best for him, of course. Right, so you can't do it here because there's some walls either side. But stay right of the wide. Oh, stay right. He's almost done it. He almost did it. Oh dear. 10 seconds avoided this time round. Well done. I believe I did get a replay of something. I think it was D. Summers making the overtake on Hummer. Gonna play that now for you guys watching. A little bit of a scare for Hummer as we went off board. I don't know if he touched Summers down the straight or if he just got scared or what. But big jump scare. Not jump scare. Big scare for the Red Bull in P2 now. So how many safety cars have we had? Well, this is our second full safety car. So we've had 2 fulls on virtual. So does that mean we can have 1 more? Okay. Raikkonen! What are you in the... What? It was 3 seconds. I think as a couple of us found out yesterday, if you take an interesting line into the pit, you automatically give a 3-second penalty. I don't know why he's chancing the fact that he might get another 10-second penalty for crossing the white line on exit again. He switched back onto some fresh hard tyres. 1 lap done on those hard tyres. That is true. It looks like he's still staying out, that's for sure. If he did another lap after this, I'd be very surprised. As they do another another lap on a safety car, just got the positions gained and lost up on screen. Biggest winner. Hello, Summers. Don't crash into the safety car. Thank you. Our biggest gain, well, it's 2 gainers actually, is Tom Putty and Composite with 7 positions apiece. Good stuff from them. Bug up 4 after he made quite a few early on. I think safety cars and good stuff. Turf unfortunately got a little bit. And of course, anyone who's DNF'd is a big loser. So sorry. The last 20 laps, yes. There's still lots and lots of this race to go. It has been a lifetime though with these safety cars, that's for sure. Anyway, the safety car is starting to drive away. Summers has been inherited the job of keeping pace for the rest of the pack. Looks like his teammate Raikkonen is just about going to make it onto the back of the field with some warm tyres, I would assume. So maybe keep an eye on him for some moves into this under this restart. Summers has not gone just yet. I thought as he stopped weaving, he might have put the foot down, but not just yet. And he's gone. DRS and gas on the floor. Homer has done a reasonably good job not to be jumped, but he's not nowhere near close enough to make a move into turn 1. Line astern into turn 1, it would seem. No one making a move just yet. Penalty rush, maybe looking for an outside move around Skipper, but backs out of it. Nathan looking for an inside move on the rush, but again, backs out of it. Of course, yeah. Yeah, there's a few places where moves can be done, maybe shouldn't be, as we've seen a few people already try and make moves or try and keep positions that maybe should have just thought about it, given it up and then gone again for a position into another lane. Just looking up and down, we've got a gap between Cookie and Nelboy over a second. They are the first to be pulling out of DRS. We've got a car off at the back. We've got 2 Kick Saubers off at the back in the gravel of Skipper and Composite, along with Nathan in the Mercedes. He has got gravel on the tyres, but no front wing damage, it looks like. Right, not good to be hitting your teammate in race conditions. Well, in any conditions, but specifically in race conditions. Yes, it's a shame we missed it, unfortunately, but we definitely caught the aftermath as everyone was playing in the gravel. Yeah, it does hurt. It seems to have hurt quite a few people tonight. Piney or one of them. You're still here watching. Homer has actually dropped out of DRS. And these Summers of people to be just driving away at this stage. Yeah, what muscles? Yeah, just as you were talking there, we saw a move for Johnny into turn one on Hummer. So maybe Hummer's just struggling with the tyre wear on those hard tyres, or potentially they're just a bit cold. Even now, he's almost dropped a second to Johnny already, and has done in this S section. Andre and Nellboy will be looking for a move as soon as possible if they want to stick the two guys out in front. Very good for the Mercedes driver. 5 laps younger tyres than the Ferrari man on 16-lap-old hards himself. It might not be a huge amount of laps considering it is a short lap round here, but it is quite a large difference when the tyre wear is as strong as it is. We could see a move for the Ferrari driver on Hummer into turn one here. He's plenty alongside before he's even got to the braking zone. Move done and dusted. Well done, Ferrari man. Now on the podium. Yeah, and as I mentioned, his teammate Pipke on the older hard tyre there has pit for another fresh set. Tyres, 16 laps to go. They will do perfectly fine to get at this rate. Yeah, the undercut is strong around here, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out relative to everyone else who is on 12-lap-old hard tyres after pitting under the safety car. You suspect they're only going to do 2 or 3 more laps, depending on what tyres they've got left. Got a medium left, of course, they'll have to go a little bit longer. A fresh set of hards, only 2 or 3 laps, and they'll be straight onto those. We mentioned these summers potentially just driving up down the road, but Johnny's actually got within half a second of the McLaren driver. He's got the pace. Yes. Definitely not. I think we quickly realised that Hummer actually just seemed to drop off with the pace. He did get overtaken by Andre, but just about managed to stay on the back for now. DRS not in the healthiest places for Andre. Og makes an unorthodox move there in the DRS into the right-hander. Another position for him. Oh, we got some pitters. We got some pitters. Hard tyres again for these summers, and I assume it will be the same. Yes, it is for Johnny Davey. Yes, Skipper is one of those drivers that might not be the quickest, but he can defend like nobody's business. Looking back up to the now leaders, Andre picked up a little bit of grass coming out of the long right-handers of sector 2. Just got caught up by Hummer and Nelboy. Have to assume that they're all going to pit this lap make sure they're not undercut. Well, the front two stay out. Nelboy goes in and nice. Oh, just about makes it to the 36 miles an hour required for the pit lane. Yeah, I think they probably could have double stacked there, but it's always better to be safe than sorry, I suppose. Yeah, we've got a couple. Yep. Riding on board with our net leader. Okay. Andre and Bahamas stay out. Yellow flags for a Kicksauber who's just stopped. Gone, whoa, sure what happened there. Looks like he might got damage on the final corner outside wall and was going really slowly. Paused the yellow flag so someone couldn't overtake. Ended up hitting the back of the Kicksauber, who's now gone into the pit for a fresh wing. That brought Johnny well back into that DRS section point. The Homo still out is somewhat perplexing to me. I think you can go to the end on these. Yeah, Andy's in. Well, Og hasn't come in though. 17 lap old hearts for him, potentially staying out because he's only got medium with it. Ah yes, Hummer is on mediums. Andre picked up some fresh mediums last lap. Johnny has got past E. Summers on the S's going into sector 2. I can imagine a great amount of speed was taken out of turn 3 to get that moved on. Yeah, well, speaking of sticking to the back up, E. Summers just ebbing and flowing between the DRS section. He looks like he's just about made it this start-finish straight, but that front wing damage maybe just pushed him over the edge, not front turning in as much as it would like. I believe Andre picked up the fastest lap there as well on his fresh winter. All over the back of Nell and Summers, Andre with these fresh medium tyres. Summers dropped out of that gap between himself and Johnny, so he will not be getting DRS. Will be well filmed. or Elbow licking his chops at this stage, hoping to make a move into turn one. Yep, and he's going to go for a move down the inside. He gets into the braking zone and just backs out of it. Inchly wise, I reckon he could have gone for that, but he's a much wiser man. So I'll trust his instincts. Just seen D-Rush pit and picked up a 10-second penalty. He's a big numpty, coming in from what I think was P3 at the time. "19 laps on those hard tyres. Nails off into the grass. The big curb that caught out Piney Penguin earlier managed to get it back on track at a relatively safe space. Just behind Andre now. That is a move that I'm definitely for Andre, but he wanted to get done quick. Had the chance to earlier. He was straight on the back. He's on his turn one. Johnny moves up into P2, going past Raikkonen on 4 lap old hards. He's on the charge for Barry Bogarovsky, who is still out on his 20 lap old hards. 9.7 seconds to gap now. Only assume that is going to shrink incredibly quickly. A brief yellow flag in the final sector there, but that has gone very quickly. Potentially just a bit of a slide out that final corner, or one of those three at the back, Salvers and Nathan. Got a good pack here between Raikkonen and Hummer. Raikkonen falls on the really old tyres, so Andre will be making a move on him. Summers actually, he's already dispatched off as Raikkonen pulls into the pits. And Bog went in as well for some medium tyres, so we were definitely correct on that. Medium tyres to the end of this race. Very, very late call to go and put those on. I'm not sure why he went so late. That is true. Definitely. We got a move for Hummer almost on Nellboy going down the inside of that left-hander. It's tricky to make moves there. Maybe a little bit of patience required for the Red Bull driver. Definitely make a move into turn one with some extra battery. ERS on, but no ERS being used, so maybe not fancying the move into turn one. Wow, yeah, you're right. The fighting going on between Nell and Hummer just dropped the gap. And Summer's struggling with that front wing damage, despite it only being an end plate. Taking a very, very defensive line. Nellboy's going to say, thank you very much, take the inside. No, he's gone off track, Summers has, and lost 2 positions there to Hummer and Nellboy. It's all going downhill from what looked like a potential runaway win earlier on. He's really just the damage is, I can only see it, his left end plate has come up. That should not be making the impact that it is. What's tires? No wing. I didn't see what laps those wheels had done. Or maybe they were just expired. No, definitely. Sure. It's an interesting one. He's come out in P11 though, so if he can get 1 position, fastest lap as well, that'll be 2 points for the Mercedes driver. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's got the better tyres and they're much younger as well as that. He's got the ERS on and DRS open. He's gaining a little bit. I think he's done well to defend there. Just keeping him out of the slipstream, and assuming he must have had a decent amount of battery to burn down the straight to keep ahead of the Red Bull driver. Yes, yeah, probably. Yeah, he said he wasn't too confident around here, but he's doing pretty well, I'd say. Considering he's not had the best of luck. Yeah, he did well there, didn't he? Just eventually, speaking of Nell though, Shane in the chat says Nell is back. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yes, he is. Not just back, but he's back with a vengeance. Set pole position for the feature race. Right on pole, he's now in P4 after a little bit of tough luck penalties. He's on the hard time, as you can see. Summers dropped off the back and looks to be under threat from Nell's teammate in the Haas, Bogorovsky into turn 1. DRS and ERS on. He's going to go for the inside move, the fresher tyres. It's just made that job absolutely fantastic. He's made the move by the time he's come out in turn 1. He'll be looking to try and make a move on his teammate potentially, or just hold up anyone behind, make sure they can keep their fourth and fifth. Ralph was so close to the back of Pipke through this sector 1 and 2. Ferrari being incredibly incredibly efficient in using the twisty turny sections to get as much battery built in as possible, with being straight E7 from the Red Bull driver. Yeah, and Ralphibus. Yeah, Ralphibus joined the back of them. He doesn't look to be close enough for this time round. He gets a big kick of oversteer going through the final corner with DRS open. But in that ERS detection, he's looking, like you say, up front at the two guys going side by side with turn 1. Pipke's on the inside. He's going to lose out to the Red Bull driver making a good move around the outside. He will be up and off the road, as you would guess. Yes, look at that traction. Absolutely flying away from the Ferrari driver with the 9.5 mediums versus the 15 hards. Definitely, and looking in front of them, Hummer has got into a much better position to try and make a move into turn 1. Andre's going super defensive, back to the outside, but the Red Bull dives down the inside, pushes the Ferrari out a little bit, with plenty of racing room left, and he makes the move, following his teammate on the last lap for P2 of this race. Definitely, I think there's a few cars ahead, which are Andre and Hummer. He's actually picked up the DRS from Andre Nelboy, so maybe he'll go for a move on the Ferrari in front. He's actually just gone wide, maybe, and Nelboy's passed. Well, P3 for now at the moment. We're just going to jump on board very quickly with Johnny, who has finished this race in first place. He's going around the final quarter, plenty of battery. Hits the wall for good measure because he knows it's the best and weaves across the line. Take his win in Zandvoort. Hummer takes P2. Nell in P3. Bog almost gets Andre on the line, just 11 thousandths of a second between him and Andre. D. Summers with a lackluster finish to that race in P6 will finish ahead of Ralphibus in P7. Pipke looks to take P8 ahead of D-Rush right behind him. Now D-Rush has 10-second penalty, which means he will be demoted behind Tom Putty and Raikkonen, unfortunately. He's out of the points. And then finally, the three at the back, Nathan, Skipper, and Composite. Nathan and Skipper, real close. They must have been battling around these last few laps. Nathan on the 18-lap pole hard tyre. Fair play to him for getting those to the end. Gonna get him? Oh, not quite. 41 thousandths between Nathan and Skipper, and Composite will come round the final quarter to finish us off for the race in Division 2 around Zandvoort with 4 DNFs, one being UConn, you stinky muppets. Yeah, not leading anymore, unfortunately, but now you're not leading. Does that mean we see a spectacular race from you next week in Baku? It's anyone's business. It's anyone's with the balls as they are. But we're not there yet. So we will take a look at our finishing positions. Yeah, that's the driver of the day. Went to Barry Bogarowski after a relatively poor qualifying for himself. Get all the way back up to where he did was John. Nellboy P2, fantastic stuff for him on points. That is not for the third in the race. Let's have a look. Johnny first, Hummer second, and Nellboy third to finish off the podium. Andre picks up P4 up from sixth. Barry Bogarowski 13th to 5th. Fantastic race. Fastest lap to boot. Will be an extra point. Well, you might not have enjoyed that race so much because you DNF'd, but I enjoyed it. It was definitely more bearable than yesterday, I think, for Summers, who had to endure the incredible weather. Well, as always. Well, as much as I really appreciate you being here, hopefully I won't see you here again before the end of a race in the coming weeks. Well, hope that everyone was watching. Won't forget, because it was a good race to watch. We will be back here again next week on Wednesday for Division 1 at Baku, as we mentioned earlier, with D Summers. Of course, I will be here again on Thursday for Division 2 Baku. This has been Greatest Study 3 and a surprise cameo from Havoc Connor. We will see you next week.